If you're a woman over 40 and you've been trying to lose weight, especially that stubborn weight around the belly, and nothing seems to work anymore, then this video is for you. Because if I wanted to lose 20 kilograms after hitting 40, now we have helped thousands of women do it, here's exactly what I do, and it's probably not what you think. We're going to break down what actually happens to your metabolism during and after menopause. So that's perimenopause all the way through to postmenopause, and what the science and the real case studies are telling us now, and about how to work with your body instead of fighting against it. So let's start with what's actually changing in your body once you hit your 40s. That's perimenopause and the menopause. Now, the first thing that happens is your resting metabolic rate, or your basal metabolic rate. That's the amount of energy that your body burns at rest. This can drop between 200 to 300 calories per day. Now that might not sound like a lot, but here's what that really means. If you keep eating the same way that you did in your 30s, all the way through your 40s, that means you could gain up to 2 kilograms per year just from that shift alone. Next, your insulin sensitivity declines. That means the foods that used to feel fine, like bread and wine and pasta, now these things are causing bigger blood sugar spikes, and this can lead to more fat storage, particularly through the midsection. And then there's your muscle mass. After 40, unfortunately, you start to lose more lean muscle mass at a faster rate, and the less muscle that you have, the slower your metabolism. And finally, your body starts to prefer storing fat around the midsection as a direct result of the hormonal changes, particularly with increased cortisol. So if you've tried every diet, every workout, and still it feels like nothing is working, you're not crazy. Your biology is simply working differently now. And this is where many women go wrong. The moment they see the weight piling on, their default reaction is to do what they used to do in the past. Cut calories, cut carbs, do more cardio. But after 40, that tends to backfire pretty quickly. When you go too low in your calories, your body starts to think it's going through a famine. It'll slow your metabolism even more. And when you add high intensity interval training on top of low food intake, so if you're cutting meals or you're fasting, then what happens? You have higher stress levels, higher cortisol, that goes through the roof, and that makes belly fat storage even worse. So you lose weight for a week, maybe two, and then everything starts to stall. Now this isn't about willpower, it's not being 21 again. This is your hormones trying to protect you. Your body is wired for survival, not for being swimsuit ready. So what we want to do is, we don't want to go against the biology, we want to start working with it. So here's what I do if all of a sudden I was in my client's shoes wanting to lose 20 kilograms after 40. Firstly, I would use a method that actually works with my new metabolic reality, not against it. So let's break it down. First thing I do, I want to fuel myself instead of starve myself. So instead of slashing the calories, eating under 1200, I'd focus on eating enough to support my metabolism. Now, I wouldn't be overeating, but I'd be eating enough, especially the protein. It's about having a healthy calorie deficit, not an extreme calorie deficit. Next, it's all about muscle. I would be lifting weights 2 to 3 times a week minimum. I want to rebuild any of that lost muscle. The more muscle you have, the higher the metabolism that you have. The reason that this works, have you ever noticed that your partner, your hubby, a work colleague, someone around the same age as you trying to lose weight, but a male, they find it far easier to lose weight than you do? Well, the reason why is men have higher testosterone and typically higher lean muscle mass than women. So what happens is, the more muscle you have, the better the metabolism, the faster the results. So even though you're doing the same things, you might get different results. That's why we need the weight training. Now, if you're doing burpees and going for hill sprints and running around the block, I would be switching that to walking. So for cardio, get rid of the high intensity stuff. We need to start prioritizing the low stress movements like walking daily. Now, what this is gonna do, yes, walking is great for your heart health, but more importantly, it's gonna help with the insulin sensitivity and reduce the cortisol, which means you got it, faster fat loss. All right, now when it comes to the food, it's about nourishing the body, not punishing the body. So I'd be eating meals that tell my body that it is safe to let go of the body fat. So what that means, I want regular meals throughout the day. If your body is in this kind of starvation mode, maybe last night you had a bit of binge eating, so today you're gonna fast all day to make up for the damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You can't just make up for what you did the day before. So we want to avoid binge eating, snacking, late night sugar cravings. The way that we're going to do that is by having the morning set up. So you've probably heard the saying, win the morning, win the day. So if we get the morning right, a nice breakfast, higher protein, you're going to feel satiated. We'll hit the lunch, we hit the dinner. 9 times out of 10, craving's going to cut down by 90%. That means less binging, less snacking. And lastly, sleep and stress. Now we're going to look to get at least 7 hours of sleep per night. I know I'm going to have people tell me that like I can operate on less than 7 hours of sleep. Well, look, does your body look amazing? If the answer is no, then your body's telling you you need more sleep. So at least 7 hours. Now, when it comes to de-stressing, people like to journal, meditate, yoga, take supplements, things to reduce their stress. Now, unfortunately, they're gonna be 1%ers. If you get your sleep right, you can bring down your stress levels or cortisol levels by up to 37%. That means good sleep is the natural reset button. This isn't a hack, it is actually biology. This is what works for women over 40. We have proven this with thousands of our own case studies, women losing tens of thousands of kilograms. One of the women that we've worked with, her name's Sarah, 51 years old. She came to us after the doctor said, look, you're in menopause, it's gonna be near impossible to lose this weight. You probably should just accept that it's part of getting older. Now, how many people do you think have been told that by their doctor? You're getting older, you're just gonna have to accept it. Now, unfortunately, she had tried everything. Keto, intermittent fasting, HIIT classes, training at the gym 5 times a week, personal trainers. Nothing worked until we shifted her focus. We got her away from cutting calories, so we stopped her under eating, we started strength training 3 times a week, we got her walking daily, and most importantly, we gave her what her body needs to feel safe in the hormonal changes. Fast forward 6 months, she lost 18 kilograms. Now, not only that, she has kept it off. Why? Because we didn't fight against the hormonal changes going through menopause. We worked with them. It's very possible to see weekly results if you're in your 40s or 50s. You can do it. We just need to have the rule book and the playbook for where you are right now, not where you used to be. So if you're in your 40s or 50s, you're frustrated, you're feeling stuck, you're ready to give up, I want you to remember this. It's not your fault. It's not all in your head. Your metabolism isn't broken. It is just different now. You don't need to eat less. You need to eat smarter. You don't need to do more. You need to do what is aligned with your current biology. If I was starting from scratch at 40 years old, needing to lose at least 20 kilograms, I'd be following the science that we've gone through, not the fads, not the restrictions. I'd reset my metabolism, I'd rebuild it, and I'd realign everything to the hormonal change that I'm going through step by step. And that's it. It's not that much more complicated. It's just about having the right game plan. All right, so that's enough for today. If you like this kind of content, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.